Last set of topics on the table before we let the fans take over this podcast. John, quickly here, we got a lot of different headlines.
Yeah, we do. The high-speed sports wire, Johnny Manziel at the top.
Johnny football. You know, he's been off the radar for a long time. Johnny Manziel this week popped off. He blames the Cleveland Browns for all the problems he had for his failed NFL career coming out of Texas A&M. He said, they put me in an environment in which we could not win. I did not get the proper coaching. The media pressure that I was under was ridiculous. They are to blame for everything that's ever happened. Now, this is Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football, who last I saw in Cleveland was bar hopping every night, buying drinks for everybody, walking around during the course of games, making signs like, I got the money after he threw a touchdown pass, blaming everybody for his failure as a person. My God. Johnny Football. Second name, this is really sad. This was a great gentleman. He was a trailblazer. George Raveling, legendary coach, USC. Prior to that, Washington State. Prior to that, Iowa. Legendary business entrepreneur, great black executive for Nike. Tremendous relationship with Michael Jordan. What George Raveling did in his career as an African-American was phenomenal. He was a confidant of Martin Luther King. Very intellectual man. Just a really, really special gentleman. George Raveling just passes away at the age of 88. Interesting story about the culture of New York Knicks basketball. Julius Randle, pretty good basketball player, started with the Lakers. Has moved around a lot, was in Minnesota, kind of found himself. Always thought he was really offbeat, kind of a strange player. Julius Randle goes public this week, talks about drug abuse with the New York Knicks, and said he was so disenfranchised because he was doing weed all the time. That's drug testing program in the NBA, by the way. And he says until he got clean, after he left the Knicks, went to Minnesota, he changed his life. He became a star. But he said, I'm a different person now, and I saved my life by the very bad experience I had with weed with the Knicks. Beckett Seneke, not a household name, will be a household name, might be here this winter. His number one draft pick a year ago of the Anaheim Ducks, wrapping up a really great career in the Ontario Hockey League. Scored 38 goals this past year. Big 6'4" winger. He's eligible at age 19 to come play in the American Hockey League this season. The NHL at this hour is negotiating with the CHL, which is the Canadian Hockey League that oversees junior hockey. They're going to put in place a bylaw in which every team in the league can assign one 19-year-old draft pick, take him out of junior where he's excelled, and put him into the American Hockey League to play for their respective team. Bennett Seneke might wind up with the Anaheim Ducks. I doubt he's going to make the NHL at age 19. But if this deal goes through, he'd come here to San Diego rather than go back to junior, where he doesn't gain anything by dominating for another year against many younger players. So that's be cool. Interesting to see if he comes here at age 19. And we've talked extensively about auto racing. We've talked extensively about Cadillac One, the F1 team. It's going to start next year. And the fact that they chose two European drivers, Sergio Perez and Val Bottas, are going to be their lead drivers next year. And they had said they were going to hire an American. The American was supposed to be Colton Herta. Then last week, rumors surfaced that Herta was negotiating to go to Europe and run for a Formula 2 team to build his experience and get his super license. You got to have a super license based on experience. Well, Herta changed his mind. Herta's just announced he's going to Cadillac as their test driver. He will be the backup to Perez and Bottas, and he will do all their testing, and he will do laps in practice at each of the major events. And you get your super license by building points. So if he can build his points, that'll fast forward his career into Formula One, but he's going to do it under the guidance of Cadillac One rather than going to run in F2. And the other auto racing story, great career, Will Power, Indy 500 champ, two-time points champion, won 42 races in IndyCar. He's being let go by Team Penske, which has gone to a youth movement. Will Power, Australian, becomes hot free agent on the IndyCar circuit. So it's going to be interesting to see where he winds up. He's going to wind up with another job. But the thing is, you're leaving Penske. Penske is a great, great, well-run organization. But Will Power is stepping aside. So, John, Johnny Football, it's your fault.
Johnny Football, man. Well, he was a sensation at Texas A&M.
Oh, you think?
You know, and I was kind of hoping he was going to have success with the Browns. And, you know, he's not wrong that the Browns didn't set him up for success, but you can't say that. I mean, you know, especially with all of his bar hopping and everything. But my guess is that if you were to do kind of a documentary on all the money in sports and NIL and how we got here, I mean, Johnny Manziel is part of that story, don't you think?
Well, I don't think he did anything illegal at Texas A&M. That was pre-NIL.
But he was signing things and getting a ton of money for it. It was kind of like a way to kind of get around the rule. So I don't know. To me, I've always liked, you know, his swashbuckling kind of angle. And it was funny he was drafted by the Padres too. But
it's funny he was drafted by the Browns, who have such a great history of developing quarterbacks going back.
Well, it's like one of those Browns fans wears the jersey with like 20 guys listed on the back of all the quarterbacks. The George Raveling, I knew he was a special man. I didn't know he was a confidant of Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes.
Wow. Dude's got some gravitas.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
You know,
the story, I don't know if you heard the story. George Raveling was a young man who worked at the nation's capital the day that Martin Luther King gave his speech, "I Have a Dream."
Oh, really? That's 1963, I think.
And George Raveling went up to Martin Luther King's people and said, "I'd like to introduce myself." And he did. And he said, "I would like a copy of your speech." And Martin Luther King gave him the speech he had just read at the podium. And George Raveling kept that in his archives and had just donated it to Villanova University, his alma mater.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, George was so influential in the business community of basketball. In addition to what he did, he took Iowa, which was nothing, took USC, which was nothing, took Washington State, which is even less, took them all to the NCAA tournament. Great guy.
What a guy. And that's a guy he understood the value of that moment, "I Have a Dream," and how that speech would be a collectible.
Yeah.
And good on him. The Julius Randle thing is interesting because you can't, TB12, and all of his nutrition and all the things, cannabis, marijuana ain't in that package for TB12, so if you want to play at a high level, you need to get off the weed. And then willpower. What a great name in the world of sports. Probably not as good as Dick Trickle in NASCAR, but it's up there.
Yeah. Good guy. And I interviewed Will Power. I interviewed Johnny Football, and I interviewed George Raveling multiple times.
Cool.
So, George was just class beyond class.
Right on.
What a special man. I'm with apologies in front because I know there's people don't always agree with what I have to say. My new signature coming on will be I got money. Johnny Football. All right, it's time for Fans Forum. Who wants to join us? Because we're going lots of different directions. I can't believe what we have seen this week.
Yeah, both the Padres and Dodgers are just killing us.
Just absolutely amazing. Explain this. Baseball fan out there watching, please explain this to us. How is this possible? You're playing the worst teams in baseball and you're losing to the worst teams in baseball at the most important time of the pennant race run, the month of September. Padres get swept by the Baltimore Orioles. Padres have lost 8 of their last 10. Now they go on the road. Get this. The last 19 games they've played, they've had 3 quality starts.
It's been terrible.
All by Nick Pivetta. The other 16 have been abysmal. And here's Nestor Cortez serving up 3 home runs in 1 inning in a row after serving up a leadoff home run to the Orioles. Nick Pivetta is going to be given the ball to pitch Friday night in Colorado. He is the ace of the staff. Phenomenal year, 13-4. Do you know what his career number is at Coors Field?
No, I don't.
Career earned run average in Denver for Nick Pivetta, 17.36.
Well, that's really bad even for Denver.
The Rockies have a career 456 batting average against him when he pitches at Coors Field.
Holy crap.
That's right. I used a different adjective adverb, but that was it. Do you know the starters in the last 7 games for the Padres? Here's a stat. The starters have gone 25 innings in 7 games. That's just a shade over 3 innings per start. In 25 innings, they've given up 25 runs, 36 hits, 15 walks. That's 51 base runners in 25 innings. The collective ERA of all those starters, excluding Nick Pivetta, the collective ERA, those guys, is 9.00. And Manny Machado is hitting 218 since August 1st. Machado and Tatis between them have 2 home runs each since July 25th. I mean, this team is totally dysfunctional. And we got 3.5 weeks to go in the season. I would normally say, no problem. They'll put together a streak. They're playing bad people. But there's a problem. They're 2-8 in their last 10 playing bad people.
Right.
So that's a shocker of a story. And before you people in LA laugh at the people in San Diego, what are you laughing about? Your Dodgers losing to Pittsburgh. Your Dodgers, ready for this stat? I'm sorry to be a stat freak, but there's always numbers behind the storylines. The Dodgers this year against the worst teams in baseball, John, the Dodgers with a $383 million payroll, Dodgers are 4-11 against the worst teams in baseball this season.
4-11.
4-11.
How does that doesn't make any sense?
Sure it does. We're playing the Pirates, the Rockies, Arizona, and the Angels as bad as they're playing. Think about that.
I think you could add up all their payrolls and it's still less than the Dodgers.
That's right. Dodgers right now have no edge. I mean, when your manager in his post-game autopsy press conferences uses the word like edge, lack of intensity, lack of focus, what he should be saying is lack of leadership. Where's the leadership on the field from this team? There seems to be no fire in these guys. They're just going out and playing. If I hit a home run, I hit a home run. And they got lineup problems. Michael Conforto was a $17 million disgrace in left field. They gave Teoscar Hernandez his 3-year extension. He had such a good season last year, and he's like half the player he was last year. And then the boys in the bullpen, 24 blown saves.
24
this season. The relievers on the Dodgers, the right-hander relievers, ERAs of 4.68, 4.44, 4.91. I mean, it's just abysmal. The team ERA is 4.12, the team ERA with the gold standard starters, but because the relievers are so bad, the team ERA is 4.12. It's just terrible. Can the Dodgers rally? Yeah, I guess so. They're playing bad people too, but they've been playing bad people for weeks, and look where they are. So if you want to make an excuse, go ahead. Or you want to critique both, go ahead. You're not going to compliment anybody, are you?
No, they're both playing horrible. I mean, and this is the Dodgers are like handing the division to the Padres, and they're
thank you.
I know exactly, and they won't take it. It's right there for the taking. It just sort of makes me wonder. Is a 162 game season just too long?
Bingo.
Because I think they're just dragging. Through August, this heat, everything else. So I don't know. I mean, but you're talking about the Dodgers, bullpen. I mean, think of all the great closers the Dodgers have had, like Jay Howell and Eric Gagne. Where's one of those guys? I mean, they have nothing. That bullpen is a shambles. And even like some of their star hitters have gone through slumps, and it's just been a mess up there. And then, the Padres just keep tripping over themselves. I mean, they're both going to back their way into the playoffs.
Yeah. Now, granted, playoffs, that becomes a short series. Here's the thing that alarms me. If you're staggering and stumbling around against the Pirates and the White Sox and the Rockies and the Orioles, what is it going to be like we get the first week of October when we start playing real people?
Well, yeah. Well, I know. I think the Dodgers and Padres probably are thinking, well, we can turn it on when we need to turn it on, but you can't do that, especially in September. I mean, you got to get on a roll. I mean, I know Schilt must be like just hitting himself in the head trying to manage his team.
Just absolutely amazing. So you're a Dodger fan, you're a Padre fan, you're a baseball fan. It's always been part of this podcast since day one. Join us in the Fans Forum chat box. What do you think? What's going to happen? Is there a solution to what we've seen? Because what we've seen the last couple of weeks, wow. Hard to believe. Okay.